Greetings, Basic Brian here again. Going to do an Eagles video. This time I'm going to try to make another greatest hits like album, playlist, or mix of 10 songs like the greatest hits and their greatest hits and greatest hits volume 2. And I'm going to make a 10 track deep cuts / just tracks that aren't on the greatest hits mix. So that is what I'm going to try to achieve. I wanted to call it Early Bird, all together as one word, like the song, or I was thinking of another name, but I keep changing the list a little bit. But I'm gonna go over this like in sequence, like track 1 to track 10. This time it's not a ranking video like my greatest hits videos, so this is a little different, but I'm just going to kind of discuss some deep tracks and the sequence that I'm going to make for Early Bird. And this is covering, so it's gonna be like this thing and this thing, and then I'm covering the albums. This one, they're self-titled, 72, to the Eagles, The Long Run, 1979. So here we go. And so my first track, and my goal is just kind of make a balanced playlist that flows a little bit. There might be a little flaws here and there, but that's kind of my goal. This isn't a ranking video, and I have a sequence. So my first track is Early Bird from their first album, a Bernie Leadon and Randy Meisner track. That is a song that kind of has a thesis statement, kind of a mission statement in a way. And this is a very creative and interesting song, but there's not a lot of meaning to it, but it is kind of a stance, and it's kind of a fun song, and there's banjo and some bird sounds and some cool harmonies going on, vocal harmonies. And it's kind of tucked away as a deep cut. So that's my number one song, or my first track, not my number one. The second track is continuing in the vein of Glyn Johns produced tracks. This is one of the Glyn Johns produced tracks on the Border, and this is You Never Cry Like a Lover, kind of a ballady, syrupy, Don Henley led sung track with some help from J.D. Souther on writing. It's kind of a deep cut, interesting, mellow. It's a good track. And my next track is going to be kind of a rocker. Some people think it's kind of fluffy. They might even think it's a little cringe, but I like it a lot, and it's very catchy. And this is James Dean from On the Border as well. So that's gonna be my third track. The one Glenn Frey led song that he sings lead kind of on. It's a good rocker, pretty catchy. It's almost like a frat boy song in a way too, but not entirely. But it's kind of got that spirit, even though James Dean is more of a loner, tough guy. But yeah, but I like the track a lot. And my next track is going to be track 4 is going to be Pretty Maids in a Row from Hotel California, a Joe Welsh written track, a very heavy-hearted song, mellow, kind of slow, nice harmonies, pretty beautiful. And even Bernie Leadon says, whoa, I really like this song. This is actually a good song. I'm surprised. And he's the guy who left before Hotel California, and he kind of barely ignored it for a while. And it's just saying something that he even likes the song, perhaps. I think I heard that from Rock History Music, an interview. So credit goes to there. And the next track is actually Bernie Leadon again. The track My Man from On the Border, which is actually a heartfelt tribute to Graham Parsons, a country rock member of the Byrds, very briefly. A very, very awesome, amazing artist in himself, cool country rock, but very legendary. His albums are awesome, Grievous Angels and GP. And he's part of probably one of the best Byrds albums, in my opinion, Sweetheart of the Rodeo. And we're gonna start the second side, maybe track 6 with Too Many Hands, the one track I have from One of These Nights, the album. A very awesome, kind of mysterious and kind of, I don't know how to describe it that well, but mischievous, I don't know, that's not mysterious, and cool guitar and bass and Randy Meisner led song, and kind of mystical. And right after One of These Nights, it actually kind of stands up well against against that track. It kind of lives on quite well. It's a very strong track, and that's written by Don Felder and Randy Meisner, who sings it. And my next track is going to be Saturday Night from Desperado, the one track from that on here. And this is just kind of a nice ballad song led by Don Henley, and some nice harmonies and throughout the song, and continuing very country, but not entirely, but more just kind of a sleepy song, but beautiful. And the next track I will have is another Bernie Leadon song, Train Leaves Here This Morning, which is co-written by Gene Clark and Bernie Leadon. So there's kind of a tradition, or kind of a lot of hands pointing back to the Byrds with my mix here. So Gene Clark is one of the legendary songwriters and singers of the Byrds early on, and he made appearances here and there, but he wrote this with Bernie Leadon. This is kind of a slow, beautiful country song, kind of about divorce and a lot of melancholy. Just a pretty song that's kind of hidden on the first album, the self-titled album. And the next track is the one track from the long run I have on here. And this is The King of Hollywood, probably one of the best tracks that is kind of hidden on the album and not famous. Kind of a slow, and it reminds me of the 80s decadent song about power mongers and being a woman in LA. And it's just really raunchy, well, not raunchy, but like dark, being kind of oppressed in a way to a power figure. And you can just feel the, I don't know, maybe it's kind of like a hangover as well when you listen to it. It's not about it, but it's kind of like it. And it's just a really cool song. And it kind of really shows the vibes of the long run in a cool way without being too second rate. Like maybe some of the experiments on that album that are still pretty cool, but and my last track is another one from Hotel California, the Randy Meisner track, Try and Love Again, which is a really cool penultimate song of Hotel California, and it's the ultimate song on here. It's a strong song, and it's kind of all in the title there, and it's sung pretty well. It's very power poppy and some cool guitar parts. And that is my Eagles playlist, my greatest hits format of deep cuts, just kind of a little discussion and some choices there. What do you think? You can let me know in the comments or make your own video. You could do either one. All the best. Thank you for watching and take care. God bless. Cheers.